What's up, and good morning, guys. I'm eating turkey sausage. First of all, before I even talk about instant karma, how I got slapped in the face, and who is most susceptible to receiving instant karma, and what does it mean, before we even get into that, can I just take a moment to freaking stand? If you don't know the meaning of that word, Google it or Urban Dictionary it, but I'm pretty sure it's not an urban word. I'm pretty sure it's like a no word. I'm standing the fuck out of turkey sausages because I like my proteins, I like my meat, I like to eat fun foods and stay fit and still be sexy as fuck. And I was in the Sam's Club and the lady was like, would you like to try these turkey sausages? And I was very resistant to ground turkey for years. And then once I tried it, I was like, yo, why was I asleep? And then once I tried these, I was like, yo, why was I asleep? So these are freaking dope. They taste just like pork sausages, way less fat and more protein. So definitely they get the vote in my book. I'm trying to merge onto I-4. I hate this. I hate everything about this situation right now. But anywho, let's get into what instant karma looks like. God, this traffic is making me so sad. I don't even want to be here right now. What kind of life is this? Do I deserve this? I deserve better than this. How can I get to I-4 without sitting in this fuckery? We're going to figure it out. All right, party people. Let's get back to the point. Instant karma. So, if you know proper verbiage, you know that karma is not the right word for something that comes back to you instantly, because karma is usually something that takes place in your next life, right? So technically, nobody's getting any karma in this life right here. However, when we're using the term instant karma, we're talking about something that has come and literally smacked you in the face immediately, and you knew, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done or said that or behaved that way. That sort of stuff is reserved for people, in my opinion, and in spiritual spaces, it's reserved for those who should know better, because when we know better, we do better. Or for those of us, and I'm not saying that we all don't have a higher calling, we all do, but most people are fucking sleep. So when I use the term woke, you don't have to group me in with overzealous people who may take things like to the far left all of the time. And if you're on the far right, I don't need you to, like, guys, when I say woke, I literally mean somebody is sleeping on their purpose. I use this verbiage in my speech, okay? So anyhow, the speech that's going to win first place, god dang it. So anyhow, a lot of us are sleeping on our purpose. We are not awake to who we are meant to be. So that's what I mean. And so for those of us, though, who are awakened to our purpose, who know what we were put on this earth for, who understand the calling, who understand the mission, who understand that our lives are bigger than our own, who understand that there is more to life than what we see, for those of us that are walking that path, we are most susceptible to instant karma. Meaning when we do something that is out of alignment with who we are and who we are put here to be, God, the universe, source energy don't play. Like, you will get that junk back so quickly, because you can't, because you are already, if you've awoken to your purpose, that means that you're probably walking that path that other people are watching, hoping, wishing, waiting to see if you're going to mess up, to see if you're going to be consistent, to see if you're going to be a man or woman of your word. And so, and that this goes for pastors. I'll tell you a story about that. When I was in Bible college and like I did something I had no business doing and I got instant karma. This applies to like leaders, spiritual leaders, managers, or just anybody who's in a position of leadership and authority that gets to lead people who knows better and should be doing better. So first, I'll tell you the story about when I was in Bible college. So I went to school at Southwestern. I got my bachelor's in ministerial leadership, learned a lot about theology, family counseling, Christian counseling, therapeutic practices, and then obviously leadership, biblical leadership, and then just being a good fucking leader of morality and integrity, no matter where you're leading. And on the way back from the hotel, because even though it was distance education, the entire degree, my entire bachelor's was online, which is why I love running an online business, because I spent, 4 years of college online, so I get it. They still wanted you to feel like you were a part of the college community. And that's why wow, it's crazy when you look back at life and you see how everything that you went through has prepared you for this. It's so important for me at Mind and Body for my ladies to feel like they're really a part of a community and not just in some online program. And so now I see where I get it from. God, I'm so thankful God let me go to that school and not Southeastern, which is here in Florida. Anyway, ended up going to Southwestern, learned so much about being an integral leader, learned so much about building community. And so for that reason, even though I was a distance education student, they did want us to come out at least for orientation and obviously for graduation and any other events that I can make it out to. So I was going to my first orientation, and I was at a hotel. It was my first time flying alone. So cool. Yeah, like 20 something, first time flying alone. And I was like, look at me, big girl, taking trips, renting cars, my little suitcase. I'm so grown. And I remember I took a pillow from the hotel because on the way there, I had such a horrible flight. My neck was funny. There was connecting flights. I knew I'd be sleeping in the airport. So I took a pillow. And when I was in my connecting flight, like in North Carolina, and it was time to get on the flight from Texas to North Carolina, from North Carolina back home to Florida, I lost the pillow in the airport. And I immediately thought, yeah, what are you doing, future pastor, stealing a freaking pillow from a hotel? Now, mind you, if you know my past, like stealing a pillow is like that's like nothing compared to the nonsense that compared to some of my rap sheet's pretty long. Okay, let's just put it that way, at least from juvenile years. So that was instant karma for me. When I lost the pillow, I was like, what would you do if somebody found out? Or, you can't keep doing little things like this in your walk to become a woman of God that wants to be a pastor of a mega church, because if you took a pillow here, well, then you'll do this here, and then you'll do that there. And so from that day forward, and I made sure to be a woman of integrity. And with my students, like at church, we would always go out to restaurants after church, and that's why I always had SUVs. So I was packing my car in with as many people's kids as possible. I know it's not safe, leave me alone. But I would do anything to get these kids to church. I'd do anything to mentor them and to get them seeing what a life well lived looks like. So when we'd be at Chipotle and they'd ask for water cups and they'd get soda, I'd smack that damn the cup out of their hand. I was like, you asked for water, get some freaking water. They're like, Bonnie, isn't that big of a deal? And I was like, but it is. Because if you're walking around with this shirt that says Faith Assembly or Mainstream Orlando, and you're one of our students, we want our students to be above reproach. We want our students to be operating in integrity. Otherwise, what are we even doing this for? So that's the premise in which that's how I function. I'm not saying I'm an angel. I'm not saying I don't do anything wrong. But from that day, God showed me, like, if I'm going to elevate you to this level in life, if you are going to say yes to the call, if you're going to answer and do this mission that I put in your heart to do, that I've actually crafted you to do, you get to be a woman that walks in integrity even when nobody's watching. Fuck. So with that said, yesterday, I'm a little hurt. I'm not mad. I'm hurt about the neighbors that keep calling on me, because it's like, I've been trying to manifest this apartment. No, I did manifest this apartment. It took 2 years for me to align my vibration, for me to align my beliefs, for me to align my self-worth with, yes, I get to have that apartment. It's not just reserved for people who make way more money than me. It's not just reserved for people who don't look like me. Like, I had to do a lot of inner work just to believe that I could deserve something like that. And we're going to go over that sort of stuff on my M3 Manifestation Vision Board workshop here at the end of this month. So if you're someone that's had a hard time manifesting things, it's because your internal belief system doesn't match the things that you want, and you will never have them. Or if you do have them, you will let them slip away because your internal operating system is still hardwired to think that you deserve less than. Woo! So moving right along. I'm still hurt by the neighbors that were calling and whatnot, and I wrote a post about unconscious bias. I didn't use the term racist. I didn't say anything about my race or the people's race. I talked about an unconscious bias where there's lots of people with dogs that bark, there's lots of people with dogs that poop, and this happens before I moved to the back of the neighborhood, and it will continue to happen. However, since I've moved there, I've gotten calls from the office at least 2 or 3 times a week, every single week since moving there, about my dogs barking or about there being poop, that me and my son aren't picking up the poop. So I said that this is a great example of unconscious bias, because this stuff was happening before I got there, but now I'm there and they're on the phone every single day. And the reason why I'm calling it unconscious bias is because even the office is like, Bonnie, we are so sorry to be calling you again, but we have to call because it's several people. And so I'm just sitting there like, dang, how many people don't want me living back here? here? Or do you do this for everyone? And the part that hurts is because I lived in the front of the neighborhood for 2 years and I was a dream neighbor according to everyone. They're like, your son even swept the hallways. So yes, from my eyes and from all of my experiences, this isn't just me pulling shit out of my ass like, oh, someone's racist. No, this is from my experiences as a black woman. This is what a microaggression looks like. We're not going to be racist. We're not going to do this, but we are going to nitpick at little things and make you uncomfortable. Yes, this is an example of an unconscious bias. So I wrote a post about it, and one of my friends from Toastmasters, and this is my instant karma story. This is the meat and the potatoes. My instant karma was that he wrote on the thing, is this really a black, tan, white thing? Also, I never mentioned color in the post, so I'm pretty sure or maybe I did it. Maybe I said, you noticed the brown girl, who knows? But it's also more about the pit bulls, because it's a pit bull, like they're on the restricted list, but because they're ESAs, they can be there. So I don't even think it's a race thing. I think it's they see pit bulls and they're mad that they're there. So they keep trying to draw attention to me and my pit bulls because they think I snuck them in, but little do they know they're ESAs. That's the unconscious bias, whether I'm black or brown, because Danny's Puerto Rican and very light skinned and I'm very brown. So I wasn't making it out to be a race thing. Anywho, flash forward. So he makes a comment on the post. You can go check it out. It's probably still there unless he deleted it. And he's like, is this really a black, brown, or white thing? Or maybe you're being unconscious and you're biased and you're accusing them of accusing you. And I was just like, wait a minute, what? I was like, I'm sorry. Did you just accuse someone? You're accusing, like, how do you take the side of someone that you don't know over me, the president of your club that you elected twice? Why? Like, and it just was burning in me. I was like, and it reminded me of every time that I've stood up and said like, oh, these two gentlemen raped me, or oh, this dude touched me, or this dude, and are you sure, Bonnie? Are you sure? And so it did trigger me. It triggered me to the point where I couldn't even think like to respond in a way that would have been healthy for all of us. It definitely triggered me. And so I responded. I thought I calmed down, but looking back, I definitely responded out of emotion. And as a result, I got instant karma. My instant karma was that when we messaged each other, I messaged him. I took it off of Facebook and I was like, dude, why, what the heck? And he goes, no, you misunderstood what I was saying. I was saying blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. What matters is that in that moment, instant karma hit me and I was like, you reacted again without like thinking about the platform that you have. People see you on Facebook. People see how you respond to negativity. People see how you respond to certain things. And I felt so embarrassed, whether he was cleaning up his tracks and retracting his statement or whether I really did misunderstand him. It was a wake-up call to like, Bonnie, you get to walk as a woman of integrity. You get to be in your feminine energy and feel your emotions and not immediately respond and react. You get to sit in those emotions and regulate. You get to process what it means to you, dissect it, understand it fully, and then you get to respond. I didn't do that yesterday. I fired back immediately from a place of defense. I went completely into the offensive mode because I was defending myself when I really didn't have to. And how is this instant karma? Because every single thing, once I said yes to the call, once I said like, yes, God, like I understand who I am and what you want me to do, and I'm going to step in it, I'm going to walk in it, and blah, blah, blah. I have a duty now to uphold that. And every time that I get out of line, I'm going to be instantly reminded of the agreement that is on my life, right? And so with that said, I'm almost downtown. I'm going to wrap it up. Sir, I need you to know that in Florida, that left lane means fast lane. You can't just sit over there putt-putting around. That's how accidents happen. All right. So, with that said, I want to leave you with my interpretation of what like it means to actually sin. And I think I've talked about this before. I don't look at sin as whether someone cusses or someone smokes or someone has sex before marriage or someone does the action in and of itself is not what makes it a sin, because I feel like everything is neutral. Humans are the ones that attach meanings to things. Cultures attach meanings to words and actions and things. What I believe what sin actually means is to miss the mark, right? And so if we go off of that actual translation of what sin means, which is to miss the mark, it's when you, going back to the beginning of this live, when you know who you are, when you know what you were created to be, when you know your purpose, when you know your calling, whether you believe you're a man of God or a man of Islam or a Hebrew or a spiritual leader or a president or a manager or a mom, whoever it is that you are on this earth to be, there is a certain standard that you're supposed to uphold. And when you don't uphold that, and when you act in a way that is incongruent with the person that you were supposed to be, you are now missing the mark. That's what sin is. So for me, if I am meant to be a woman of integrity and I am operating out of integrity, it doesn't matter whether I'm sucking and fucking behind the back of a store or I'm cheating someone out of their money in my business. The sin is in me being out of integrity. Does that make sense? And that's why I had to leave church, because I'm like, you guys are teaching something that is so like boxed in what you want to believe, because it's easier to control, and I don't mean in a negative way control. It is easier to manage large groups of people like religion and churches when you have very clear set standards. It's much harder to tell people how to live when you say, well, no, what's a sin for you isn't a sin for you, but it's a sin for her. That's messy and it doesn't make sense. And what's funny is that God is a little messy and God doesn't make sense, and yet Christians have fought so hard to try to keep God in a box and try to make God make sense to humans. And it's like, nah, y'all just need to learn how to be who you were meant to be and stop trying to make everybody else be who you think that they were supposed to be. That's between them and God. That is one of my biggest issues with church. That is one of the biggest reasons why I had to get the fuck out of the box of religion, because there are so many amazing people, so many amazing students that I got to mentor that felt like they were going to hell because they're fucking homosexual. Like, I can't deal with that. I spent years of my life as a woman of integrity in a state of shame. Every day I go to church, and no matter how spirit-filled I am, and no matter how much God is using me, deep down inside, I was like, I've had premarital sex, or I thought about something bad, so I'm shameful. And like, it really takes out the human aspect. It doesn't always. And there are some really good churches with really good theology that really can like bypass that. But at the top, like overall, no, that's the thing. They're like, this is sin, this is sin, this is sin. And no matter what, this is sin. Even if that's not something that causes me to be out of integrity. For me, drinking does not cause me to get out of integrity. I got a freaking strong ass tolerance. I can outdrink a lot of people. But by religion standards, that's a sin. For me, cussing is me communicating with passion the sentiment that I want to communicate. And it's like, you don't, for someone else, if they're maybe like at a pulpit preaching or trying to be someone that leads a society of people that doesn't cuss, yes, that's probably a sin for them because they're missing the mark of who they should be. So I hope that makes sense. I got a little sidetracked, but I did arrive downtown, so I'm getting ready to run in and host this networking event. Thank goodness they start networking at 9, because I woke up this morning vomiting at not this morning, at nighttime. I laid down after I ate and just started vomiting. It was the worst thing ever. So I woke up late, and now I'm here though. Can't believe I'm here. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna connect and inspire local entrepreneurs, build some community with each other, because community is important. And I hope you guys received something from this message today. If you did, comment what your key takeaway is. You guys have no idea how, oh shit, I did it again. You guys have no idea how helpful it is to hear that this resonates with you, because I feel like I'm talking to myself when you guys don't respond, or if I don't know, I literally am talking to myself. So if you guys are ever watching my live, or anybody else who takes the time to try to teach something or give you wisdom, say something back to them. Say thanks. Say, I appreciate that. Say that resonated. Share it. You have no idea how helpful that is, especially when you're trying to build a personal brand. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this sort of message, make sure that you tune into the podcast available on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It's called The Boss Life with Bonds, B-O-N-S. There should be links in my bio if you want to follow me on other places. So have the best day of your entire lives. I love you guys to the moon and back. Peace. Oh, that's cool. You just get over it. No, it's fine, Florida. It's fine. Crazy.